Okay. So I'll just brief whatever we have done in yesterday's class. Just quickly we'll have a revision. So yesterday, if you remember, you have learned about what is a crystal lattice. Okay. So crystal lattice was arrangement of, it's a three-dimensional arrangement of point in the space. Okay. So I said those points can be anything. Those points can be occupied by either atoms, or they could be ions, or they could be even molecules, correct? Any one of these could be occupied in this point. So these points are arranged in three-dimensional way. So that three-dimensional structure, what you get, that is called as a crystal lattice. Okay. And that smallest unit which is getting repeated throughout in the crystal lattice, that small unit is called as unit cell. Okay. So I hope this part is clear. Okay. If you have anywhere any doubt regarding this, you can ask me. Okay. That small part which is getting continuously repeated, that's the unit cell. But when unit cell gets repeated continuously, you end up getting a huge structure, a giant structure, that is crystal lattice. Okay, so as you can see over here, a small unit cell is continuously repeating itself to give you a big structure. Okay, which is crystal lattice. Yes, then we have seen parameters of this unit cell. Okay, where I told you this parameters will decide the shape, the size of the unit cell. Okay, so those parameter, one is the dimension. Okay, one is the dimension, that is the length of this cube, and the other one is the angle. Okay, so you can see, because it's a cube, and in the cube, you know, there are three axes: x axis, y axis, and z axis. Okay, so you will have three dimension here. Okay, and that length we take as A. Okay, one we take as A, and the other one we take as B, and the other one we take as C. Okay, so you will have three here, three dimensions will be there. And then since there are three dimensional, you will end up getting three angles for that. Okay, so these three will be the angle. One angle is between B and C, that's alpha. Between A and C, that is beta. Between A and B is gamma. Okay, so altogether six parameters are there. Six are there because three sides and three angles. Okay, so that was a parameter which decides the type of the shape of the unit cell, everything. Okay, then I moved on to the type of unit cell. You have studied different types of unit cell because these atoms can be placed in a different way. So based on that, you are having two categories. Mainly they are divided into two broad category. One is primitive unit cell and the other one is centered unit cell. Okay, and centered is further divided into three categories that you have seen: body centered unit cell, then we have seen face centered unit cell, and the last one was end centered unit cell. Okay, let's revise once again. What is primitive unit cell? In primitive unit cell, okay, what you observe is at each and every corner there are atoms occupying. Okay, so these atoms, that is the constituent particles, are present at every corner. So 8 corners you will be able to see particles. Then such type of unit cell will be the primitive unit cell. It's also called as simple cubic unit cell. Okay, only at the corners. Yes, that's simple cubic unit cell or primitive unit cell. Okay, now moving on with the centered unit cell. In the centered unit cell, you will find particles which are present at the corner. Okay, so along with the corner, you will find in other position also. Okay, other than the corner, you will find atoms in other places as well. So then that will be centered unit cell. So in that you have again three categories. Okay, so first category is body centered unit cell, where you find the atoms present at the corner like primitive. Okay, along with that you find one atom which is present solely inside the unit cell. Okay, one atom is present inside the unit cell. Okay, then that will be called as body centered. As the name goes, body centered, because one atom is present in the center of the unit cell. Okay, and that whole constituent particle belongs to this particular unit cell, whereas this one is there, no, this will get shared. Actually the primitive ones are there, no, they get shared between the other unit cell also, but this will not be shared. It solely belongs to that particular unit cell. Okay, so body centered means they contain 8 corner particle. Along with that 8 corner particle, one particle is at the center. Okay, that is body centered. And I gave you this another space filling model also. This is how it can look. Okay, So don't think that these atoms will be different every time, the body centered one. Okay, it can be same atoms also, because if you take metals, metals also are showing body centered unit cell, where you know metals, all of them are having same kind of atoms. So it can be shown by different, it can be shown by similar ones also. Okay, then next one is face centered unit cell. Face centered is where you find again primitive ones are already there. Okay, you have atoms present at 8 corners. You can see these are 8 corner atoms. Now apart from that, if you take a cube, you can see there are 6 faces for that. Okay, face means that sides and the top and the bottom together. Okay, so if you count that all together, you will get 6. Okay, so if I start counting, this is the top one. Okay, this is one, and then I have towards the right side, so this is second, and then I have in the bottom, yeah, dice, correct. If you take dice, even if you take Rubik's cube, so you can see there are 6 faces. So second one, and then this is third, this is the fourth. Okay, and then I have front one, so that is fifth, and the behind one, sixth. If you take a room also, if you take your room itself, you can see 4 sides are there, 4 walls you will be able to see, no? Then one is the roof, and then below you have the ground. Okay, so altogether you can see 6 faces. So if you have a unit cell where corner there are atoms, along with that you find on these faces also atoms present. Okay, then they belong to face centered unit cell. And then the third category we are having is end-centered unit cell. Okay, end-centered is where you have 8 corner particle. Along with the 8 corner particle, you find atoms, one at the top and one below. Okay, then they are end-centered unit cell. So these are the classifications which you have studied. Okay, this was our yesterday's topic. Now we will proceed. Today, what you are going to learn is, now these unit cell what you have studied, they fall into 7 categories, okay, which differ from each other based on these parameters what you have studied. Okay, that is the edge length and the angles. So based on the edge length and based on the angles which are present, we are having altogether 7 type of crystal system. Okay, so this is our today's topic. So you can give the heading 7 types of crystal system. So from these topic, a question can be asked for 1 or 2 marks. Okay, based on angle, they will ask you what type of crystal system is this? Or just give an example for crystal system. Okay, so let us look into 7 type of crystal system. Each and everything I'll be going to discuss in detail. Okay, first one is cubic. It's also called as isometric. Okay, first one is cubic. Then you are having tetragonal. Third one is orthorhombic. Then it is monoclinic. We have triclinic, hexagonal and trigonal. Okay, so these are the different, but I will be discussing, don't write this, only give the heading 7 types of crystal system. Each and everything I'll be discussing one by one. Okay, okay, now what I want you to do is, below this you make these column. Okay, you can see I have drawn the table. I want even you all to draw this table. Okay, so you will make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 columns. You will make 6 column and 8 rows. Okay, 1 row to write this main heading and 7 rows to write about the crystal system. Okay, now we'll discuss one by one. So I said these 7 crystal systems we are going to discuss based on the parameters what you have studied. Okay, that's 3 dimension and the angle. Based on that we have different kinds of unit cell. So first one is cubic. Okay, so you can write in the crystal system, first type of crystal system is cubic. Okay, so cubic means, you know, a cube, speciality of a cube is what? All the sides are there, no? Okay, that is your x-axis, y-axis as well as z-axis. All the sides are equal. So here in this particular kind of crystal system, your distance are there, no? That is edge length, the dimensions. So here A length is equal to B and that is equal to C. All the sides are equal. Okay, so these sides are equal, and if sides are equal, the angle the angle is there. No, now coming to the angle between them. Okay, this angle between them, okay, since they are perpendicular, so they will be 90 degree. Okay, so this angle plus even this one and even this, okay, all that is alpha, beta and gamma is found to be 90 degree. Then that will come under cubic crystal. Okay, all the sides are equal and the angles are equal. So you can write down in the crystal system, you will write cubic crystal system, cubic it is. Okay, and then where you have written the edge length, there you will write A is equal to B is equal to C, because all the sides are equal here. And in the actual angle, you will be writing alpha, beta, gamma is equal to 90 degree. Okay, now we'll see the possible variations which we have observed in this cubic crystal. Okay, this cubic crystal shows you three possible variation. One is primitive, that is simple cubic, where all the atoms you can see arranged at 8 corners. Okay, one is primitive shown by this simple cubic. They even show body centered. Okay, one atom present in the center of the cube, and then even face centered is shown by them. Okay, so these are the possible variations. So you can write primitive, body centered and face centered. If you want, you can just write P, B and then F. But you have to remember P stands for primitive here, B stands for body centered and F stands for face centered. Okay, possible variations when you are writing, you will be writing this in the column. Now let's see the example belonging to this cubic crystal. One example is your table salt, that is sodium chloride. Okay, sodium chloride, you can see if you observe this properly in the X-ray diffraction is the instrument which is used to observe the crystal structure. Okay, this you will be studying in your higher classes. Here you don't have now, it is just a beginning. No, so when you go for your higher classes in detail, you will be studying. For your PUC level, whatever is given now, this much is enough. Okay, will not go much detail about that. Okay, so here you can see sodium chloride has a cubic structure. Okay, the instrument which is used is X-ray diffraction is the instrument which they make use to find out about the crystal structure. Okay, so one is sodium chloride. You can remember another example also. Another example for this cubic structure is zinc sulfide. Okay, zinc sulfide has a cubic structure. See, for the first one, I'm writing here and showing you. See whether you have written in that way itself. Okay. For the crystal system, you might have written here, it's cubic. Possible variation shown by them. One is primitive. Okay. Then you have body centered. And then face centered. Okay. Within the bracket, I told you write P. Here you write B. And then here you write F. Coming to axial distance or edge length is the dimension which we are talking about. So that is A is equal to B is equal to C. Okay. Then axial angle, that is the angle between these A, B, C, that's alpha, because it is perpendicular. No, so alpha, beta and gamma, all of these is found to be 90 degree. Okay. And then last one, you are writing the example. So one I told you is sodium chloride, the other one is zinc sulfide. Yes, we'll go for the second one now. The second category of crystal system is tetragonal. Okay. So see the structure, how tetragonal is. If you take a cube, okay, from the cube, if you stretch one of their length, okay. So if I draw a line over here from this side somewhere, okay, this will be a cube. But if I extend one of their dimension, okay, then you will get tetragonal. Yeah, it is also called as cuboid, correct? Yeah, so tetragonal is the name which we are using over here. So tetragonal has see what will be the dimensions over here. That is we will talk about the edge length first, axial distance. Here this A value is there, no? A and B value, okay. These two values are equal. You can see these two values will be equal, okay. But this, the third one is there, no? The C, the C length, they will not be equal to each other. Okay, so this C length will be little longer. Okay, so if you take a cube, so I am telling you, if you take a cube and if you just stretch one of their dimension, okay, then you will end up getting this tetragonal, which is also called as cuboid. Okay, you might have studied this in your high school. In geometry, you might have studied this. Okay, so here again, it's the same thing. So all the dimensions will be perpendicular to each other. So here alpha, beta and gamma, all of them are 90 degree. Okay, because all of these will be perpendicular. See, this is perpendicular, this is also perpendicular, and this is even perpendicular. So all the angles are equal. So 90 degree it is. Okay, so fill up in your column axial distance or edge length, you will write this. Then angle, you write this one. Okay. Coming to the type of variation they show, two types of variation they are showing. Okay, one is simple, that is primitive. Okay, you can write primitive. Simple is nothing but primitive itself. And the other one is body centered. Okay, you can write P and then B. This is the possible variation shown by them. Let's see the example. Example is white tin. Okay, white tin is one example for this tetragonal. And then we have titanium oxide. I've taken two examples for this. Okay, white tin and titanium oxide. Okay, let's see the third category. Okay, the third one is orthorhombic. So orthorhombic is like your matchbox. Okay, if you take a matchbox, you don't find any of the sides equal to each other. Okay, you can see here, if I take A and B and then C length, all of these are different. Okay, so here A, B, C length are different to each other. Okay, so this length and this length. Okay, all of them are different. Okay, this, if it is A and this is our B, and this is C. So all of these lengths are different to each other. So that comes under orthorhombic. Okay, it's like a matchbox. I'll write here. This structure is like a matchbox. Okay. So if you take tetragonal and then that A and B length were equal, no, that if you start stretching, okay, tetragonal was like this. If you remember just now what we did, tetragonal was like this. Okay, so if you stretch from this side, from AB, if you stretch them, then this is what you get up. Okay, so that's orthorhombic. So here, what will you write for the side? If you want to write about the axial distance and axial angle, okay, that I will tell you. So here A is not equal to B and not equal to C. Okay, all the sides are not equal to each other. But coming to the angle, we have not changed the angle. Okay, yes, very good. So here we have not changed the angle. All of them are perpendicular to each other. So angles are equal. Okay, so you can write alpha, beta, gamma. All of them are equal to 90 degrees. So you are able to follow now. So if you have a structure in your mind, then you can write down these things. Okay. So, and the possible variation shown by them, all the unit cells are shown by these particular orthorhombic. Okay, so they show you primitive also, they show you end centered, body centered, as well as face centered. Okay, so you can write all of them for this. So make a note, students. Yes, let's see the example for this crystal. Example is rhombic sulfur. So orthorhombic, remember rhombic sulfur is the example for this. Okay, rhombic sulfur, this is the structure. You can see beautiful crystal it is. It's a sulfur element itself, but sulfur can have a different structure. So rhombic sulfur is one example. And the other example is barium sulfate. See, sulfur and then barium sulfate. So just to connect and for you to make it easy, I have taken similar kind of example. Okay. So you can write down rhombic sulfur and barium sulfate. Okay, next one. The next crystal system is hexagonal, fourth one. Okay. Fourth one is hexagonal with the name. You go with the name. So hexagonal means what? The top and the bottom, okay, is there. No, that shape is like a hexagon. Okay. So here you can see hexagonal roof, and the top and the bottom, both of them are having hexagonal shape. Okay. Now in this crystal system, the side, okay, that is A and B, this and this length are equal. Okay, in a hexagon, if you want to draw a hexagon also, you should take all the sides equal. So here this A and B value are equal to each other, but then the length is there, no, the third dimension. Okay, the third dimension is not equal. So you can write in the actual distance or edge length, A is equal to B, but they are not equal to C. Okay. Now next, coming to the angle. So if you talk about alpha and beta, okay, that is this and this one, okay. This I am talking about, alpha and beta are these angles, okay, which are perpendicular to A and B. You can see this is the C1, okay, which is perpendicular to A and B. You can see. So this will be 90 degree. But coming to this angle between A and B, what will be that angle? Any idea? Yes, 120 degree. This angle is 120 degree, okay? This angle is 120 degree. So that gamma angle which is there, that's 120 degree. And these two, that's alpha and beta, they are 90 degree, okay? So you can write down for hexagonal. So remember this structure where A is equal to B, but they are not equal to C. And write down in the actual angle, you have to write alpha and beta are equal to 90 degree, okay? That is this. I will show you once again, this and this particular one, okay, these two are 90 degree. But this angle, okay, I can take it over here also, this angle between this two, okay, or I can take this and this, or I can take this and this. All of these are 120 degree. Okay, next moving on with the, and you can write possible variation. There is only one, okay, that's only primitive is observed by them. We don't have any other variation observed. Only primitive is seen for them, okay. For possible variation, you will write only primitive. Okay, next moving on with the example. Hexagonal kind of a structure, if you remember, we had when we studied this classification of crystalline solid, there you saw graphite has this kind of arrangement. You have seen two-dimensional arrangement they are having, where throughout you had carbon being arranged in a hexagonal 2D layer like this. No, it was throughout, okay. And the next one you are having again similar pattern, okay. So here everywhere we had carbon. So this carbon is arranged like in a hexagonal pattern, okay. Below that you have another layer. So they are stacked in that fashion. So graphite is one example, okay. Since you are familiar with this structure, you will be able to remember this. Hexagonal graphite is the example. And the another example is zinc oxide. Okay, so if you see the molecular structure of zinc oxide, even they show you same kind of structure. Okay, this is the molecular level structure. When you see using an ultra microscope, you will be able to see this kind of structures. Yes, okay, let's see the next one. The fifth one, okay, also called as rhombohedral or trigonal. Okay, this is the fifth one which we are having. So this rhombohedral is kind of similar to your cubic. Like if I take a cube and if I tilt them little, okay, if I take a cube and if I tilt it little bit, okay, then whatever structure I get, that will be rhombohedral, okay. Understanding? If I take the cube, you know, in the cube all the sides are equal. So you just tilt the cube, okay. So here angle will change, but all the sides will be equal to each other, okay. So what can you write for these actual distance? What can you write? A is equal to B is equal to C. So I am telling you cube itself, but we are just going to tilt them with a certain angle, okay. So it's just a tilted cube. So all the sides are going to be equal there, but angle is not going to be equal to 90 degree because now they are not perpendicular. The angle we have changed, okay. So alpha, beta, gamma will not be equal to 90 degree, but sides are going to be equal to each other, okay. So you can write an edge length A is equal to B is equal to C, but alpha, beta, gamma is not equal to 90 degree. You can see here, okay, this angle has become a little less than 90 degree, no? And the only possible variation shown by them is primitive, okay? So for possible variation, you can write only primitive. Let's see the example. Example is calcite. Calcite is nothing but calcium carbonate, okay? Common name for it is calcite. This is calcium carbonate crystal. Okay, one more example is cinnabar. Cinnabar is mercury sulfide, okay? HGS is cinnabar. So these two crystal, they have rhombohedral kind of a structure, okay? Okay, next, sixth one. Sixth one is monoclinic. This monoclinic structure, okay, they are showing two kind of possible variation. That's primitive and the other one is end-centered. But this is how the monoclinic is, okay? You can see the first structure over here. This is monoclinic where this A, B and C, both, all the three dimensions are there, no? They are not equal to each other, okay? So you can write here A, B, C, okay? They are not equal to each other. Plus, it's like little distorted ones. If you take rhombohedral and distort to a little angle, then you will end up getting this monoclinic, okay? So these angles, sides are not equal. Even angle, only alpha and gamma is there, no? They are 90 degree. Alpha and gamma, they are equal to 90 degree, but beta is not equal to 90 degree. Okay, so that is monoclinic. Example, you see monoclinic sulfur. Okay, like for orthorhombic, you had orthorhombic sulfur. So here for monoclinic, it is monoclinic sulfur. And the other example is sodium sulfide. Okay, that is decahydrated. Sodium sulfide decahydrated has this kind of structure. Yes, we'll see the last one now, seventh one, that is triclinic. So in this triclinic, okay, it's the unsymmetrical one, I can say, okay. The most unsymmetrical one is triclinic, and the most symmetrical one what we had is the first one, that is the cubic one, okay. So this is the most unsymmetrical one where you don't find the sides equal, neither you find the angles are equal to 90 degree, okay. So you can just remember, in triclinic all the sides are not equal to each other, and alpha, beta, gamma, nothing of them are equal to 90 degree, okay. All of them are having a different angles. So the most distorted one, the most unsymmetrical one is triclinic. Okay, so you can write for edge length A is not equal to B, not equal to C, and here alpha, beta, gamma, nothing of them are equal to, okay, they are not equal to each other, neither they are equal to 90 degree. An example for this triclinic. Before going to example, remember the possible variation is only primitive, okay. Only primitive kind of a structure is shown by them. Possible variation is only primitive. Moving on with the structure, one is boric acid, it's H3BO3, this is a structure. Boric acid and potassium dichromate, okay. Potassium dichromate has a beautiful orange color crystal. These crystals are having this kind of geometry, okay. This whole thing of the seven crystal system, okay, if you don't want to study about the possible variation, that's fine. Possible variation they don't ask in the exam, okay. What they will be asking you is, if a cube is given, they will ask you what is the actual distance and actual angle. That could be asked, okay. and once they have asked even the example. So most of the time it will be like this, or they will give you these two things. Okay, like for example, if I give you this, A is equal to B is equal to C, and if I tell you alpha beta is equal to gamma is equal to 90 degree, like this question will be given to you. They will ask you what is the type of the crystal system. You have to name that crystal system. Okay, so this crystal system is cubic. So like that kind of structure, like question can be asked in your exam. It will take little time, but if you remember, if you are able to get the structure in your mind, okay, based on the structure you can remember these two things. So it will not be difficult. It's almost like your geometry. Okay, more of maths involved in this. So if you are able to count, students, how many possible variations you are able to get? Did you count it all from the beginning, from the cubic till the triclinic? If you count all the possible variations, can you count and tell me how many possible variations you are able to get? Yes, 14. No, everyone able to get 14. If you count all of these, okay, if you count them, you get 14 possible variation, and only this many are observed, okay, which was observed by Bravais, I told you yesterday, okay, Bravais lattice. So total possible variations which we have in the crystal system is only 14, okay. So these are those 14 crystal systems which you studied just now, okay.